Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, UFC Mexico Moreno versus Erceg just concluded, and it's time to recap it. We went 5-0 on official bets. We played some live ones that we're going to get into as well. Overall on the night, 7-1 on bets. Overall on the night, 11-1 on fight predictions. The one that I got wrong is kind of embarrassing. I picked Vince Morales. I'm a bit ashamed. I'm a bit ashamed. Other than that, we feeling good. There was one kind of robbery here, and Vince Pichel didn't. Vince Pichel. I think Vince Pichel won that fight too. I think he won 2 and 3. So that was kind of a robbery, and it started off to where it's like, okay, we got some Mexican bias because I think Austin Herbert won his fight, even though I picked Medeiros. I think Vince Pichel won his fight, even though I picked Rafa Garcia. And at that point, if you watched the official bets video, I had a money line on Vince Morales. I cashed that out. So our 6 bets went to 5 bets. Our 3.09 units wagered went to 2.85 units wagered. And we went perfect on bets. We're going to recap our bets, and then we're going to recap the main card. Let's start with what we did during the live stream for shits and giggles. We had 3 that we placed on the live stream. We had Brandon Moreno over 1.5, over 100.5 strikes. Significant strikes landed. That did not hit. Moreno was more looking for power shots than volume, which I kind of should have known. I thought he would throw volume and in his combinations with power shots, but it was really power shots. Pumping the jab out there, not really to land, just to gauge the range, and then throw his overhands. Middle of the card, I was like, fuck it. Let's go Kevin Barras, plus 3.5. Edgar Chavez. I was big on Edgar Chavez. I said in the bets video, I'm probably going to place him by finish. As soon as the prop drops, we did it during the live stream here. Finish in the first round. Beautiful. I thought he would hurt him, rock him, cause a scramble, get a guillotine. So that's why I wanted to do KO, because I thought he would hurt him. That wasn't what I was worried about. I was worried about what would he do after he hurt him, because I knew he would go for a submission as well. That was possible. Goes in a rear naked choke, gets it done. We bring back over a unit, just about a unit. We brought back a unit. How about that? Okay, and then on the parlay, we brought back a unit. So very well on the live bets. Usually the live bets are ones that the shits for giggles are the ones that I lose. Just to see what happens. Those are the ones that I lose. So we did good on those. We had a great card as well. Casual parlays, 2 of them, both hit. Boom! David Martinez, beautiful against Simon Oliveira. Gets him out of there super fast, super crisp. Had the power to match. I think Simon's cutting too much weight. Simon's cutting too much weight. He was slow. He looked frail on the scales. He came in, didn't really look durable at all. He got to go up in weight before he gets cut from the UFC. And Jamar Emmers versus Gabriel Miranda. Originally, it was just going to be Jamar Emmers' money line. As you saw in that first round, I might have been in trouble if that's the case. Obviously, hindsight, we know that. But I knew something would happen under 2.5 rounds, because Gabriel Miranda almost had a submission in that first round. Jamar Emmers works back to his feet. Gabriel with his chin in the air, his lack of striking defense, his lack of striking IQ gets tagged over and over and over again until he couldn't take anymore. That one hits. We profit 0.7 of a unit. Second casual parlay, Melky boy. Not only did he win a plus 3.5, he won the fight. Come on, man. Milk 1 and 2. Christian Rodriguez wins 3. I also had a straight bet on Milk that we'll get into later. That one hits. Then co-main. Paired that up with the co-main, not to enter the third round. I didn't think he was going to get out of the first with Manuel Torres. And that's exactly what happened. Manuel Torres sparks him round 1. Drew Dober, you're not beating that allegations. Moving on to the shoe-in parlay, Joe Pyfer gets pulled off of the card after saying he's the healthiest he's ever been in his fighting career. That was crazy. I thought I was getting trolled on Twitter when I seen it. Nope, it's true. So our shoe-in parlay, our odds got adjusted from this to, I don't know, minus something. So we only profited this. I don't think Markel Medeiros won the fight. I think the third round, I can understand the argument on damage, but it wasn't that. He landed maybe 4 or 5 elbows, and not back to back to back. And it wasn't the fact that the elbows were just, whoa, fight-ending elbows. It's just that he caught one at a good angle, cut his head, but Austin was never hurt. Austin had much more control. Austin worked on top as well. Austin, really stopped all the sweeps for the most part. I think Austin won that fight. I do. I want to see what Twitter says. I think Twitter agrees with me on that for the most part. Underdogs and straights. We had Vince Morales here. Glad we took that off. so we can have the perfect betting night. Melky Boy did his thing. Went out there. I thought it would be a little bit more fun, a little bit more striking than it was. Chris Rodriguez really came out trying to impose his will, trying to clinch, trying to gas Melk out, and that game plan just didn't really work. The clinch positions were very even. Melk showed that he could scramble with the best of them, just like because we knew Christian Rodriguez had some amazing scrambled eggs, but so does Melk. This is shoot the box we're talking about here. Okay, I think Melk had the good striking, was landing more in the clinch as well in that first round. So I like him first round. I like Melk second round for sure. Hurt C-Rod. Could have ended the fight there. Didn't. Stayed patient. Realized who he was dealing with. Stayed calm. Played smart. Rodriguez comes out in 3. I like it. And then I took off the money line, but I did pull the trigger on Vince Morales. And he came through for you, boy. I put something small on it to show the confidence, but I really did think Vince was going to give him a bigger test than what people thought. And I was Vince in any point, looked like he was going to win that fight to me? No. Even though he had Darce chokes in and all that, I never felt in my heart that the fight was close to ending. I never felt that Vince was going to win this fight after the first exchange in the first round. So for him to edge out that third round feels nice. But that's 3 losses in a row. 3 really good prospects he lost to, yes. But that's 3 losses in a row. His second UFC run, he probably gets cut. Tough way to go out on. I ain't doing him no favors. Just know this is all for entertainment and content. We had a great time on stream. My power went out right before the main event. So, could enjoy the main event. But it is what it is. We back at it again next Saturday. We back at the predictions next week. We back with the bets on Thursdays. Thursdays now instead of Wednesdays. You know what it is. Now let's get into the card. Brandon Moreno versus Steve Erceg. I think the rifle guy won. I had it 3-2. I gave Moreno 1, 4, and 5. I had it 3-2. I think 2 was close, and it could have went either way. But I gave 2 to Erceg. But I saw on Twitter a lot of people going into that 5th round, people had Moreno 1, 2, and 4 was giving Erceg. Now, Moreno, every single round was landing the harder shots, the more damaging shots. But Erceg was still in there. And the rounds that he did win, he just out-volumed them. Basically, the rounds that Steve did win, he out-volumed Brandon Moreno. And it was quantity over quality in those rounds. But overall, quality over quantity beat Steve Erceg tonight. Steve Erceg looked good. His defense is still bad. That lead hand's too low. He's going back in a straight line. The overhands, same overhands that Kai Kara-France used, the same overhands that Alexandro Costa used. They're there, and they're there. Like, when I say they're there, they're there. Steve's jab, amazing. Offensively, amazing. His jab is amazing. His teep kick's amazing. His front kicks to the lips, amazing. I think he was a bit too passive tonight. At times, I would literally be like, okay, Steve. Now, Moreno would do that too. In these rounds that he won, I think Moreno was doing it for pacing, though, and really just trying to find a big shot. But in the corner, I want to say in the 4th round, in the corner, his coach said, okay, you need to pick up the pace. And Moreno stopped trying to find that one shot, and he started picking up the pace, and that's why he came out 4 and 5 and actually landed more strikes. But it was literally times in that fight where I'm like, okay, Erceg, where's your jab? Erceg, you got to throw something. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Even though he threw more strikes in every single round, I swear there were times where it was like, if it wasn't this, like, where are the strikes at? And then Moreno did a great job of catching the jab. Erceg was stinging Brandon with the jab bad, but Moreno had a nice high guard. He was catching a lot of punches. It would be like the 3rd strike in the combination for Erceg that would actually hit Moreno. But other than that, he's catching a jab. He was rolling. He did a great job. Great job tonight. Co-main, damn. Performance of the night from Manuel Torres. Well deserved. I mean, he brutalized Drew Dober. He had Drew Dober out of there so bad that Drew thought the fight was still going. Drew was in on that single leg off pure instinct. Got up, still had his hands up. Let's do it. By the time he comes to, he goes, wait, it's over? Yeah, bro, it's over. 1-2, sits Drew Dober down, hurt him bad. And I think he took way too many hammer fists at the end of that fight. But I can't really get mad at the ref because Drew was in on a single. He was in on a single. His body never went limp, but he was out of there. He was definitely hot. He was out of there. Edgar Chavez versus C.J. Vergara. Edgar looked great. Looked on point. I bet Edgar Chavez money line, and I bet him by finish because it wasn't a fact of I wanted to do KO, but it wasn't. But I knew that it wasn't a fact that if he would hurt CJ. I thought he would be able to hurt CJ. It's just a fact of what he does after he hurts CJ, and I knew it could be a submission, so we just did finish. Still was plus money, plus 140. We did our thing on that. Edgar Chavez, crisp. He's crisp, man. He's crisp. CJ, this might be your last fight in the UFC. He's a gamer, tough out. Hasn't been given any favors as well. Fighting killer after killer after killer. Well, prospect after prospect after prospect, but really good prospect. Hasn't been given any favors. But, yeah. Edgar got him out of there. Ain't really much I could do. I mean, first round finish is a first round finish. First round finish is first round finish. I mean, ain't really much I can really break down there. Raul Rosas versus Vince Morales. Raul clearly won. He's finding himself in some bad positions, though. Like, in round 2, I want to say there was a Darce threat. Round 3, Darce threats. But Vince is really good at fighting that body lock. Like, not really people, body triangle. There's a lot of, not a lot of people are as good at fighting the body triangle as Vince is and throwing his opponent off. He's like, that's one of his best things. Like, he's super, super good at that. Corey Sandhagen is another guy who's really good at just fighting the body triangle. Fighting the body triangle, throwing you off balance, creating a scramble. Vince is really good at creating a scramble, but he was outmatched on the ground tonight. He was outmatched on the ground tonight, and his striking didn't really left a lot to be desired. I kind of knew Raul would be faster, but Raul was landing combinations at time. Now, Vince would land a shot here and there, but for the most part, Raul was in control. And literally, it went to the third round. I had plus 3.5 rounds. Basically, don't get shut out. Basically, just went around on Vince. Going into that third round, I'm like, I might be cooked. Because he hasn't won one yet. But he edged out the third round. I think Raul controlled the fight, striking and grappling. He's improving in every fight, as I said, but these positions that Vince will be able to create, the better bantamweights are able to create those exact same positions. And I want to see Raul keep fighting guys like this. Let's not put Raul top prospects out of the rankings. Let's keep Raul in matchups like this because he still has a lot to learn. He's 20 years old. I think I'm older than Raul Rosas. So keep it going. Keep it going. I'm liking it. I'm becoming a believer. David Martinez versus Simon Oliveira. Another thing is like a first round finish. David was much faster. I said it when we recapping the bets. We had David money line, by the way. Simon got to go up in weight. Like, he got to go up in weight. He looked so slow. He looked so frail on the scales during weigh-ins. He just does not look like a bantamweight. And maybe that's because David's just small. But he looked slow in there. Maybe that's because David's really fast, because David is much faster, much better movement. Simon couldn't track him down, and then he just got hurt. But he just doesn't look like, I don't want to say he doesn't look like he's meant to be in the UFC. Give him a shot at featherweight, and maybe it looks different. But, dude, he had nothing to offer. Nothing to offer. Grappling, nothing to offer. Nothing to offer. Striking. It got to the point where he wanted the grappling exchange so bad, he literally just ran like this at David, trying to push him against the fence and just grab a hold on him. And even in those positions, he could not do anything to work his game. He was just completely outmatched tonight. Ronaldo Rodriguez. This was domination. And I want to pat myself on the back for picking Kevin Borjas. This was total domination. This fight was never competitive. Now, Ronaldo was still in there. He's a gamer. He ain't going to put on himself. He ain't going to go nowhere. But as far as, like, the actual fight, it wasn't competitive whatsoever. Kevin's right hand was on fire. And Ronaldo, as the fight went on, he was able to take it better and better and better and better and come forward, and more volume. But he couldn't touch Kevin. And every time he would touch Kevin, he would leave himself open, right hand, boom, and he was cracking him over and over and over and over again. To the point where Ronaldo Rodriguez was in the second round looking for Hail Marys. Yeah, he was throwing the jumping switch kicks and spinning wheel kicks in the first round just for shits and giggles. But in the second and third round, he really wanted to land that because he probably knew, hey, I need to get this guy out of here. He was much slower. He was struggled with the length as well. He struggled to deal with Kevin Borjas. Kevin Borjas dog walked him. I want to see Kevin versus Edgar Chavez. That's a firefight. Prelims, damn. Like, damn. I was saying, I don't know if Jose Medina is really KOable at this point. I compared him to James Yan, top of the middleweight division. Gautier, it's pretty nice. He's very surgical in there. He wasn't just throwing wild winging punches. He was surgical. High guard, straight punches, punches and bunches, working the body, doing his thing, landing with precision, not getting too reckless whenever he would touch him. Played it super smart. He was very surgical in there. He looked really good. He looked better than I thought he would look. Now, let's put him in there against somebody who can actually throw some offense back at him. But you can't really name a better way to debut in the UFC. That was great. Great fight. C-Rod versus Milk. Kind of underwhelming for what the expectations I had for it to be. No way, 159 to 77. I gave Milk 1 and 2. I didn't really look on Twitter to see if anybody felt like this was a robbery, but I gave Milk 1 and 2. He just significantly outvolumed C-Rod, and C-Rod was really, really focused on the clinch until round 3. He said, "Fuck it, let's just go for it." But in rounds 1 and 2, he really relied on that clinch and the pressure to try to take a toll on Costa's tank, his gas tank, and it just didn't work out like that. I don't think it worked out the way he expected it to. Milk never went in the way. Milk was scrambling with him. Milk was getting back to his feet. Milk was landing his punches. Milk was landing nice elbows inside. I told y'all, bro, I was going to fade C-Rod over and over and over again until I was right. Shout out to Shoot the Box. Makes it feel even much better. Now my vendetta against you, C-Rod, is gone. It's not even against you. It's just against the judges that gave you that fight against Isaac Dagarian. I would never forget it. I lost $300 because of that. Moving on. Lupe Godinez versus Julia Palastri. Lupe did exactly what she needed to do. She dominated that fight like she was supposed to dominate. Now in the third round, obviously it got tricky. Lupe was gassed. Julia was walking her down, hands down, not giving a fuck, getting her in her face. But that's all. But in rounds 2, Lupe, she already knew she had those in the bag. I mean, I didn't even know the strikes were this close. But I remember in rounds 1 and 2, Lupe picking her up, putting her on her back, controlling her, pop shotting. That's what I remember. I don't remember the strikes being this close. I remember round 3 telling myself, Julia need to finish. And she was going for it too. But Lupe was the better wrestler. We knew Julia clearly could not wrestle the way Lupe can. It's just Lupe struggles to take the path of least resistance over and over and over again and mix her talents up well to win fights. It got tricky in the third round. But if you bet Lupe, you were probably feeling good. And then in the third round, Julia was walking her down, but it wasn't a lot behind those shots. The win was out of her sails. You knew Lupe really was going to get KO'd. So if you bet on Lupe, if you're a Lupe fan, you were probably feeling good going into round 3, even during round 3. Like, obviously, it's a little hairy, but once the scorecards came out, you probably weren't worried at all. Rafa Garcia versus Vince Pichel. Now, I was driving because I woke up late. I was driving on the way to Blake's house during this fight. And every time I look down, Vince will be landing. Now, round 1, I give it to Rafa. And it's a fight I kind of do need to rewatch. I like the Rafa because of his grappling in round 1. Round 2, Vince Pichel clearly outstruck him. I think clearly outstruck him. Was hurting him with the teep kick. Not hurting him, but getting his attention with the teep kick. His jab was on fire. Round 2 was clearly a Vince Pichel round. Now, round 3 is where it swings. First of all, they gave it unanimously 30-27 to Rafa Garcia, and that's just ridiculous. That's just out of this world ridiculous. But I think you really could have gave round 3 to Vince. I kind of need to rewatch it. I saw Vince tweeted, somebody called the cops, I was robbed. I think Vince was looking like the fresher man in that third round. Was landing the better, precise strikes in that third round. I can't really remember when this takedown came. It might have been late. But I think Vince won that third round. I think Vince won this fight 28-27. At least make it a split. A unanimous 30-27 is fucking ridiculous. A +3. I almost put a +3.5 on Vince Pichel. I'm glad I didn't. Or is it Vink? I don't know. Jamal Emmers, Gabriel Moreno. First round KO is a first round KO. It was looking hairy in the first. Gabriel got a position. Was trying to lock up a choke. Jamal stayed calm. Didn't panic. worked his way back up to his feet, and we knew on the feet it was gonna be over. It was just gonna be over. Miranda chin in the air, wide guard. It's just a disaster. Can't really take shots well. I mean, he ate so many clean shots. I'm surprised he didn't get KO'd earlier. Yeah, this is exactly what we thought would happen. And then moving on to Marco Medeiros. I spoke about it in the bet. I had a bet on Marco Medeiros, but I don't really think he won this fight. I think Austin Herbert won this fight. I think Austin won 2 and 3. I do. I think Austin won 2 and 3. I think his wrestling and control was enough, and he was working on the ground. I think it was and I usually lean damage over like the control, but Markel, it felt like once he finally reversed position and got on top, it felt like he wasn't really doing that much damage. Yes, he got the cut, but I don't think it was just from a gnarly elbow fight in the elbow. I think he just caught it at the right angle. He got a cut, but also never looked in trouble once he lost the position. I could see it, but I would lean Hubbard. Went 11-1 on predictions. Like I said, the one that I got wrong was Vince Morales. That's embarrassing. Like, comment, subscribe. We back next week. Predictions gonna drop Tuesday. Bets gonna drop Thursday. We doing our thing. We riding the wave. Share this to somebody I know they enjoy just like you did. Don't be silly, jump together. Don't be stingy, share me. You ain't gotta go home, you gotta get up in the main.